Chapter 4. Henry. Jack gasped as Annie held out her hand. Oh, brother, she was always trying to make friends with animals, but this was going too far. Don't get too close to him, Annie, Jack shouted. But Annie touched the pterodon's crest. She stroked his neck. She was talking to him. What in the world was she saying? Jack took a deep breath. Okay, he would go down too. He would be good to examine the creature, take notes like a scientist. Jack started down the rope ladder. When he got to the ground, Jack was only a few feet away from the creature. The creature stared at Jack. His eyes were bright and alert. He's soft, Jack, said Annie. He feels like honey. Jack snorted. He's no dog, Annie. Feel him, Jack, said Annie. Jack didn't move. Just think, Jack. Just do it. Jack stepped forward. He put his arm very cautiously. He brushed his hand down the creature's neck. Interesting. A thin layer of fuzz covered the Petrodon's skin. Soft, huh? Said Annie. Jack reached into his backpack and pulled out a pencil and a notebook. He wrote, "Fuzzy skin." "What are you doing?" asked Annie. "Taking notes," said Jack. "We're probably the first people in the whole world to ever see a pterodon." Jack looked at the pterodon again. The creature had a bony crust on top of his head. The crust was longer than Jack's arm. "I wonder how smart he is," Jack said. "Very smart," said Annie. Don't count on it," said Jack. "His brain's probably no bigger than a bean." "No, he's very smart. I can feel it," said Annie. "I'm going to call him Henry." Jack wrote in his notebook, "Small brain?" Jack looked at the creature again. "Maybe he's mutant," he said. The creature titled his head. Annie laughed. "He's no mutant, Jack." Well, where is he going then? "Where is this place?" said Jack. Annie leaned close to the pterodon. "Do you know where we are, Henry?" she asked softly. The creature fixed his eyes on Annie. His long jaws were opening and closing like a giant pair of scissors. "Are you trying to talk to me, Henry?" asked Annie. "Forget it, Annie." Jack wrote in his notebook, "Mouth like scissors." "Mouth like scissors? Did we come to a long time ago?" asked Annie. Is this a place from a long time ago? Suddenly she gasped, "Jack!" He looked up. Annie was pointing towards the hill. On top stood a huge dinosaur. Chapter 5. Gold in the grass. "Go, go!" said Jack. He threw his notebook into his pack. He pushed Annie towards the rope ladder. "Bye, Henry," she said. "Go," said Jack, and gave Annie a big push. "Quit it," she said, but he started up the ladder. Jack scrambled after her. They tumbled into the treehouse. They were panting as they looked out the window at the dinosaur. He was standing on the hilltop eating flowers off a tree. "Oh man," whispered Jack. We are in a long time ago." The dinosaur looked like a huge rhinoceros. He only had 3 horns instead of 1. 2 long ones above his eyes and 1 on his nose. He had a big shield-like thing behind his head. "Triceratops," said Jack. "Does he eat people?" whispered Annie. "I'll look it up." Jack grabbed the dinosaur book. He flipped through the pages. There, he said. He pointed to a picture of a triceratops. He read the caption. The triceratops lives in the late Cretaceous period. This plant-eating dinosaur weighed over 12,000 pounds. Jack slammed the book shut. Just plants, no meat. Let's go see him, said Annie. Are you nuts? Said Jack. Don't you want to take notes about him? Asked Annie. We're probably the first people in the whole world to ever see a real live triceratops. Jack sighed. She was right. Let's go, he said. He shoved the dinosaur book into his pack. He snuggled over his shoulder and started down the ladder. On the way down, Jack stopped. He called up to Annie. Just promise you won't pet him. I promise. Promise you won't kiss him. I promise. Promise you won't talk to him. I promise. Promise you won't. Oh, go, she said. Jack went. Annie followed. When they stepped off the ladder, the pterodon gave them a kind look. Annie blew a kiss at him. Be back soon, Henry, she said cheerfully. Shush, said Jack, and he led the way through the ferns slowly and carefully. When he reached the bottom of the hill, he kneeled behind a fat bush. Annie kneeled beside him and started to speak. Shush! Jack put his fingers to his lips. Annie made a face. Jack peeked at the triceratops. The dinosaur was incredibly big. Bigger than a truck. He was eating the flowers off a magnolia tree. Jack slipped his notebook out of his pack. He wrote, eats flowers. And he nudged him. Jack ignored her. He studied the triceratops again. He wrote, eat slowly. And he nudged him harder. Jack looked at her. Annie pointed to herself. She walked her fingers through the air. She pointed to the dinosaur. She smiled. Was she teasing? She waved at Jack, started to grab her. She waved at Jack. Jack started to grab her. She laughed and jumped away. She fell into the grass in full view of the triceratops. Quack! Whispered Jack. Too late. The big dinosaur had spotted Annie, and he gazed down at her from the hilltop. Half a magnolia flower sticking out of its mouth. Oops, said Annie. Get back! Get back! Jack shouted at her. He looks nice, Jack. Nice? Watch out for his horns, Annie. No, he's nice, Jack. Nice? But the triceratops just gazed calmly down at Annie. Then she turned and looped away down the side of the hill. Bye, said Annie. She turned back to see Jack. See? Jack grunted, but he wrote in his notebook. Nice. Come on, let's look around some more, said Annie. As Jack started after Annie, he saw something glittering in the tall grass. He reached out and picked it up. A medallion, a gold medallion. A letter was engraved on the medallion. A fancy M. Oh man, someone came here before us, Jack said softly. Chapter 6, Dinosaur Valley. Annie, look at this, Jack called. Look what I found. Annie had gone up to the hilltop. She was busy picking a flower from the magnolia tree. Annie, look, a medallion! But Annie wasn't paying attention to Jack. She was starting at something on the other side of the hill. Oh, wow, she said. Annie. Clutching the magnolia flower, she took off down the hill. Annie, come back, Jack shouted, but Annie had disappeared. I'm going to kill her, Jack muttered. He stuffed the gold medallion into his jean pocket. Then he heard Annie shriek, Annie! Jack heard another sound as well, a deep bellowing sound like a tuba. Jack, come here, Annie called. Annie! Jack grabbed his backpack and raced up the hill. When he got to the top, he gasped. The valley below was filled with nests. Big nests made out of mud, and nests were filled with tiny dinosaurs. Annie was crouching next to one of the nests, and standing over her was a gigantic duck-billed dinosaur. Don't panic, don't move, said Jack. He stepped slowly down the hill toward Annie. The huge dinosaur was towering above Annie, waving her arms, making the tuba sound. Jack stopped. He didn't want to get too close. He knelt on the ground. Okay, move towards me slowly, he said. Annie started to stand up. Don't stand, crawl, said Jack, clutching her flower. Annie crawled towards Jack. The duck-billed dinosaur followed her, still bellowing. Annie froze. Keep going, Jack said softly. Annie started crawling again. Jack inched farther down the hill until he was just an arm distance from Annie. He reached out and grabbed her hand. He pulled Annie toward him. Stay down, he said. He crouched next to her. Bow your head. Pretend to chew. Chew? Yes, I read. That's what you do if a mean dog comes at you. She's no dog, Jack, said Annie. Just chew, said Jack. Jack and Annie both bowed their heads and pretended to chew. Soon the dinosaur grew quiet. Jack raised his head. I don't think she's mad anymore, he said. Thanks, Jack, for saving me, said Annie. You have to use your brain, said Jack. You can't just go running to a nest of babies. There's always a mother nearby. Annie stood up. Annie! Too late. Annie held out her magnolia flower to the dinosaur. I'm sorry I made you worry about your babies, she said. The dinosaur moved closer to Annie. She grabbed the flower from her. She reached for another. No more, said Annie. The dinosaur let out a sad tuba sound. But there are more flowers up there, said Annie. She pointed to the top of the hill. I'll get you some. Annie hurried up the hill. The dinosaur waddled after her. Jack quickly examined the babies. Some were crawling out of their nest. Where were the other mothers? Jack took out the dinosaur book. He flipped through the pages. He found a picture of some duck-billed dinosaur and read the caption. The Antarctic lives in colonies while few mother babies sat the nest. Others hunt for food. So there must be the mother close by. Hey, Jack, Annie called. Jack looked up. Annie was at the top of the hill, feeding magnolia flowers to the giant Antarcticist. She's nice, Jack. She's nice too, Jack, Annie said. But suddenly the Antarcticist made her terrible tuba sound. Annie crouched down and started to chew. The dinosaur barged down the hill. She seemed afraid of something. Jack put the book down on top of his pack. He hurried up to Annie. I wonder why she ran away, said Annie. We're starting to be friends. Jack looked around. What he saw in the distance almost made him throw up. The enormous, ugly monster was coming across the plain. He was walking on two big legs and swinging a long, thick tail and dangling two tiny arms. He had a huge head and his jaws were wide open. Even from far away, Jack could see its long, gleaming teeth. Tyrannosaurus Rex, whispered Jack.